Guys, let me tell you about the time I spawned into survival with a yellow hazmat suit and no hope, and yet pulled off one of the luckiest wins of my life. No yellow suit, no yellow suit, no yellow suit. Oh man. Yep, the dreaded yellow suit. I was already defeated. Alright guys, let's get this heartbreak over with. I had already decided I was cooked this round, but I took a chance on it anyway. I started in apartments and made my way to the crash site and grabbed some gear. I was able to get blue gloves, an SMG, a medkit, and a blue mask. Decent start. But I found myself at fire after fire, struggling to stay warm. And then I had a sudden stroke of luck, finding needle after needle after needle after needle after needle. Excuse me, pills. I was finding more needles than I could carry at one time. I made it to my second crash site and got a blue AR and, you guessed it, 2 more needles. I was able to take a needle, pick one of them up, and then head straight to another hideout. I crafted my basic and advanced filters and decided I'd head to a contaminated zone in the LZ. In the contaminated zone, I immediately found another needle. I got a little lost on this rooftop in the contaminated zone, but eventually found my way back to the ladder and headed out. At this point, it was time for me to head into the DZ, but not before finding this gem and another needle. But then... Oh, there's no... Come on! And with that, I darted for the DZ entrance, still skeptical about how this would turn out. Get in there. I knew I was against the clock if I wanted to get a decent amount of div tech. That is until... And just that fast, I was by myself. And that was even scarier, because if I went down, there was absolutely no chance I was making it out of here. And so the div tech grind started, going down south not far from where I entered, and then hitting gas station, getting yet another needle and some more div tech. Across the street, found yet another needle and my antivirals for score purposes. I grabbed the div tech from the parking lot down the street and then had a dance with the death behind the basketball court to get even more div tech. Grabbed the div tech from my favorite little hiding spot right up the street from the basketball court, then grabbed the 4 that are underground right by the basketball court and another needle. I grabbed the div tech at the end of the alley by the hideout north of me and went inside to gear up. Surprisingly, I was able to get all gold gear, and this was a little bit of a boost in my confidence, I'm not gonna lie. But there was still a lot ahead of me. I wanted to clear some landmarks, and I also wanted to kill 3 hunters. I was pretty much all stam here, so I crafted 4 mods to give me a little bit of a boost and got going. For reasons unbeknownst to me at this point, I ran up the street to get the div tech and to Bryant Park to get even more div tech. I found another needle, ran to the hideout north of Bryant Park, grabbed some more div tech, another needle, and even more div tech before making my final visit to a hideout. Since I didn't really need much here, I crafted a few pieces of clothing to increase my cold score and mentally prepared myself to hit some landmarks and fight some hunters. I found yet another needle when heading to my very first landmark, which was construction site. I cleared construction site with absolute ease, went to the roof to grab the div tech, and headed to Bryant Park to fight my first hunter. Now, I gotta admit, I was pretty nervous, but to my surprise, I one-tapped him. After that, I quickly hit the landmark underneath Bryant Park, and when I resurfaced, I noticed day was breaking, so it was time to quickly get to landmark number 3. And that's Angry McShane. I made quick work of my nemesis, dispatched of his lackeys, grabbed the div tech, and now it was time for the real challenge. The LMB and sports store would prove to be my most formidable opponent yet. And before I knew it, there went my never downed score and the beginning to my end. I finally burned through my first med kit of the entire playthrough, and then my second, right behind it. And while trying to revive, I almost didn't make it up. What is going on? I was doing everything I could to get out of Kalkesi. And then I went down again, my third and final med kit. And mind you, I'm in here by myself. I did it. I got away. But this was not the last I would see of them. I did what any smart agent would do after losing all of their med kits. I called my second hunter to take my frustrations out on, praying I would not go down. Oh man, was I lucky. Or so I thought. Let's start with the yellow suit, so like I said, I'm not expecting to make it out of here. My good old friends in the LMB from across the street were waiting for me. And so, the fight resumed. But this time, I had the upper hand. I picked them off one at a time. I took out my trusty sniper and picked off the boss. Peek up again. Yeah. That was one less boss and one more boost to my already damaged confidence. I had time for one more landmark before attempting to extract and facing my final hunter, so blockade it was. I had to redeem myself against LMB. Oh Lord. And they almost tied the score here. No. Once again, I just barely got away from LMB. I don't know why I was tempting fate here. And with another down, all that was left was the boss. He fell for the trap, and that was it. That was my 6th landmark. And now it was time to take on my final hunter. Now, when I was going through this playthrough, and maybe you can tell me down in the comments if I'm tripping, but I really thought I was hitting him time and time again. But for some reason, I was missing. And I just knew that yellow suit bad luck had finally caught up to me at the very end of my run. How? Like, there was no way I was missing this much. Seriously, I thought this was it. And then I kind of just one-tapped him. That was it. I can't believe it. The curse was lifted. I started this run 2 hours prior with a yellow suit and absolutely no hope. And shout out to my chat for trying to lowball my score. I'm not gonna lie, this was a lot of fun and daunting at the same time, but I absolutely enjoy almost every time I play survival. If you want to see the full run, I will have that linked in the description. Also, you could catch me live on Twitch, Kick, and potentially YouTube, so subscribe here for more or follow the links in the description as well. I really enjoyed telling this story this way, so if you liked it too, let me know in the comments below, or if you're shy, just simply leave me a like. I'd really appreciate it, and I'd also appreciate it if you stuck around, so subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. But until then, be blessed, everyone.